turned out to be somebody who, like, you're like, this guy has been a 15-year pro, a first-round tight end. I'm like, that's, the odds of hitting that don't feel worth it for me to take that gamble at that position.
800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. We'll certainly get back to some draft talk, but the Bucs season ended in terribly disappointing fashion last night. We can continue to recount all the different things that happened, but one of the big stories coming out of the game and following the season-ending loss for the Bucs, the first team as a number one seed to lose in 5 games of a 7-game series to an 8 seed in the first round of the NBA playoffs, your Milwaukee Bucks last night. So the disappointment was there, but Giannis, following the game, was asked this question by Eric Name and responded in this way when asked if it was a failure of a season.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, and if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why are you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. There's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's going to win. And this year, somebody else is going to win. Simple as that. We're going to come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one.
Look, I appreciate Giannis's candor. I understand that it's an impossible situation to be a star in the league and have to answer questions about failing when you're a 1 seed losing to an 8 on your home court in your city, the one that you built and helped your team win a championship. But I just texted MJ during Giannis's conversation right there that we just listened to, and MJ said, yes, I failed the 9 seasons I didn't win a championship.
Marcus gave you his number?
Jeffrey did.
Jeffrey did?
Even though he's in a little bit of trouble right now, I think. Regardless.
Could you just go with Marcus?
Yeah, I could. I always just screw it up when it could be easy for me. I don't care about steps to success right now. I really don't. I don't care about the comparison of 50 years of failures for the Bucks or if they were building towards something. What I saw was a team that all we heard about is when they got the number 1 seed, the path to play the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the winner of that game was going to win the championship. And that is how the Milwaukee Bucks approached that entire series. They looked ahead. He even mentioned it later on in the press conference. I don't care about perspective. Everyone's like, what a perspective. Perspective? We're talking about perspective? This is professional freaking sports. This is the NBA. This is about hanging banners. This is a business. And fans have every right to be upset in which the way they lost. And so it's hard for me I love Giannis. Everyone loves Giannis. He's an unbelievable person. He's an unbelievable player. But it was a colossal failure. It was a disaster. The series was embarrassing, to be quite honest. It was. The way in which they lost leads, the way in which they closed out games, the way in which they got out. Greg, we texted each other at the exact same time.
We did text each other.
They got bullied. And whether you think, the word bullied could mean a lot, to me, Jimmy Butler came in there and put Drew Holiday in his pocket. And everyone's like, oh, Drew's back. He's chirping Jimmy. No, that's not Drew. Drew beats everybody by being the silent assassin that he is. Jimmy had Drew right where he wanted him. He was kicking his ass. And Drew didn't have an answer. And the Bucks didn't have an answer. They didn't try different things. So I don't care about perspective because the core of Drew, Brooke, Giannis, and Chris may be no longer. We don't know. But in terms of an opportunity as a number 1 seed with championship DNA, it is nothing but a failure.
I think that it's great. It's a good, healthy attitude for Giannis to have. Now, I think that
both can be true.
I think I agree. I think we're conflating. I think he's conflating this idea of like the organization's not a failure. Giannis isn't a failure.
Correct.
The player's not a failure. The team itself isn't a failure. The season was the failure. So if he wants to make the work comparison, like if you have an initiative at work and it bellies up and loses the company money and is a disaster and fails, like that's a failure. It doesn't mean you are a failure at your job. It doesn't mean that the company's a failure. But that initiative, like that thing in itself, you can call a failure and you can learn from failures. Like you shouldn't be scared of failing if you can learn from it and get better from it. I just think that he took it in a different way, and a lot of people are applauding him. But I agree. I think you're lying to yourself if you say, like, I don't know how else you would describe that season other than, was it a successful season that ended too early? Like, you were the odds-on favorite to win the title, and you
It's
lost
steps
in 5,
to success,
and you lost in 5 games to the Heat, and that's okay. This organization is a failure. They're championship organization with a championship culture, with an MVP championship level player, and this season they fell short.
I think it's a good thing that the question is being asked, right? Milwaukee Bucks fans would be clamoring to have a playoff series in which at the end, where they lost in the first or second round, was this season a success or was this a failure? And then no, not really. We got to a place we hadn't been before. The question is holding the Milwaukee Bucks to a championship level caliber. And that's why I think the question is okay, and that's why I think it's okay to look at the season as a failure.
800-990 ESPN, 800-990-3776. Let's go to Dan and Sheboygan. Dan, welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Mick Ultra. What do you got?
I mean, as soon as the series was an absolute failure. They went 1-4. It's not like the Packers where you lose one playoff game. They played 5 playoff games. They won 1. You lost every game Giannis started. I mean, that's just there are no adjustments by Coach Bud. How about you knock Jimmy Butler down? How about you have somebody take Jimmy Butler, knock him down, Thanasis or Crowder or somebody. I don't care if they get thrown out of the game. I don't care if he gets suspended for the rest of the season. Somebody knock him on his butt.
Hey, I'm actually kind of with Dan. I called for a Grayson Allen flagrant foul yesterday.
I don't think that's the right way to go about it.
I'm not saying they definitely could have made it more physical.
Yeah, they could have double teamed him.
They definitely could have made life way more hell.
They could have made Haywood and Strus beat them a little bit more. I mean, hell, Gabe Vincent put up 30 though. Like, what do you? Ron and the King, welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Mick Ultra. What do you got?
Okay, so a few things. I'll try to be fast.
She said.
First of all, obviously we know I prefer to troll. I'd like to troll Eric. I like to. Delayed. Good work, Chris. I prefer to troll Eric, but in this case, I absolutely respect him because let's face it, Giannis, puts food on Eric's plate. Like it is not every reporter that is going to ask that question of Giannis in that situation. At that point, so I respect Eric for it. I'm usually on the opposite side of this, but Giannis is wrong, and I agree with you guys. This is a failure. It is, again, to your point, maybe not he's a failure, but if you ask, did they succeed? No, they failed. And they failed historically bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a question. I'm also not usually on the fire Ted, I'm on the fire Bud. There are inexcusable things that happened. You can't not take a timeout on a 13-0 run. You can't then not take a timeout 2 days later when it's happening again. You can't not take a timeout and advance the ball. And, oh, by the way, a lot of this is on Giannis. He should be emotional. He bleeped the bed. He was terrified at the end of that game. He looked like crap. Somehow, it's like I feel like I'm criticizing Aaron Rodgers when he's playing really great. Giannis put up, almost 40 or whatever? He was a bad player in the fourth quarter. And he was terrified to take a shot. And the two passes at the end of that game, one from Giannis after the tip, and one it was Drew that passes the ball out to Chris. Just hold the dang ball and have confidence that you're going to make a free throw.
Well, that's
It's
why
also the fact that Drew made the second free throw was just dumb.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Playing it off the front of the rim.
I agree with you on that one, Rod. And I think the fear for Giannis all is about the free throws. I think if he wasn't worried about going to the charity stripe, you wouldn't have seen any fear.
The problem is like Giannis is a 2-time MVP. He made, what was it, 18 of 19 or something ridiculous in the NBA Finals Game 6. And so it's not like he hasn't done it before. And that's the alarming thing. When Giannis is playing hot potato, and I agree, Ron, when he shot the right sort of elbow wing 15-footer, there's no chance that thing was going in. It was like everyone on the Miami Heat were clapping when he shot it.
38 and 20.
No, that's just
I know.
He was clearly at a point where he was settling. Then you can't give him the ball. The guys that weren't bleeping down their legs was Wes, Pat, and Brooke. And I know that that's insane. And maybe Chris looked okay at times, but he's just can't. We don't have a true ball handler. Drew wanted to shoot and shouldn't. I literally would have just been like, we're going to put it in Brooke's hands.
I mean,
you're spiraling now. Thank you for the call, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. West, by the way, was a minus 19 in 24 minutes yesterday. His plus-minus was minus 19. Brooke was minus 13 in 44 minutes, the worst of any starter. So they might not have been scared at the end of the game, but again, I think there's interesting perspective to it all, to use a word from Benny. 800-990-3776. If you're on the line, stay right there. We'll keep the phone lines open. We will get to you. Talking Bucks here, reacting to the loss, reacting to Giannis' comments. We'll get to some NFL draft talk a little bit later, but we'll stay in on the Bucks. So if you're on the line, stay there. If you're not, call us, text us, 800-990-3776. Hanging out here with Palermo's at the Gruber Lofts. This one called That's All Studios. It is Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
Urban Pie coming right up.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
1-0, you've gone 48 hours without brushing your teeth as an adult.
I don't think there's another one in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, stop.
As an adult?
I mean, everyone's gone through a phase of, giving up.
Do you know
right? Everyone's gone through a phase of giving up and not brushing their teeth for a couple days.
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Delays continue on westbound 94 coming out of the Marquette interchange through the stadium interchange. Eastbound side's heavy from 76th Street through the stadium as well. Southbound 41, watch for delays from Mayfair Road all the way down through the Zoo interchange. Then we got pockets of heavy traffic coming in from Silver Spring, on and off the brakes straight through Capitol Drive on 43 southbound, then back on the brakes from North Avenue through the Marquette onto 4394. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 44. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 57 at the lakefront, 63 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And you know, there's more to being a local Wisconsin bank than perfectly pronouncing Oconomowoc or Waukesha. Or is it Waukesha? But rest assured, at Great Midwest Bank, we understand the local community and economy because we're a part of it. At GMB, we provide customized lending products that others just can't offer. Experience a hometown banking difference. Head to greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
At least twice as big
as the one you gave her when you got engaged.
That's the definition of a big anniversary diamond.
Kessler's has lots of ways for you to go twice as big.
We have twice as big diamonds from diamond mines.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of Mother Earth.
And the ones that exist in the world today are all there will ever be.
Kessler's also has twice as big created diamonds.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart
of a ball of lightning, a miniature star, inside a plasma chamber.
It's a wonder to behold.
Kessler's also has twice as big flickering firelight diamonds.
These natural diamonds flicker with all the warm colors of firelight
instead of the cold colors of ice.
Flickering firelight diamonds are another wonder to behold.
And all of these twice as big diamonds are for her.
The best wonder to behold of all.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
There's only one place in Milwaukee where every day of the year, dreams and reality get together for a great time. Where you can walk in a player and walk out a winner. That place, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. With fantastic dining, gaming, sports betting, a luxurious hotel, and endless ways to win, the excitement never stops. The only thing missing is you. Your win is waiting, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Visit our website to learn more. Must be 21 to enter casino.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Giannis Antetokounmpo says the season was not a failure despite the early exit by the Bucks. He did say it was the worst postseason ever. Said you got 16 games you need to win. We only won one. We have 15 left to go.
Oh, man.
It's a hard way to look at it.
That's perspective.
Ben Brust, Greg Scalzo, no Joshi DiMaggio. He recovers from the 1,000 Michelob Ultras he drank last night. Chris Larson, your cousin sup of the day. And I believe we got Alex G run the show at the ESPN Madison Studios. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Of course, that's you. The Scalzo and Brust family, and we're going right to you. We got Nick on the north side. Welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra, hanging out here with Palermo's Pizza at the Gruber Lofts as one called That's All Studios.
Appreciate it for taking my call, guys. This is my second time calling. The first time I called to basically tell y'all, like, we need to talk more Bucks because y'all was basically asking, like, why do we need to have a conversation about the Bucks when this Aaron Rodgers saga is going on? This was, like, at the tail end of the season. And I'm like, because are y'all watching these games? Like, this is the just most fraudulent first seed championship team I've ever seen. Like, and the North Side has been just saying this forever. Like from Drew and Chris to Bud, he gotta go, man. They gotta go, and we've been saying it. Nobody's been listening to us. But yeah, man, they just
real quick. Were they frauds in 2021, Nick? Were they frauds in 2021?
It's basically the same roster.
Here's the thing, and I said this last time I called. We were winning in spite of Bud because of Giannis. Giannis had 54. He had to have half the team's points for us to win it all. That's crazy.
But Bud won a series Bud won a series without Giannis. He literally won the Eastern Conference Finals without
Chris Middleton scoring 15 straight in the third quarter and Drew Holiday closing it out on the road.
Isn't that crazy to you, Nick?
Listen, man, it was good for one. Just how we had one with Rodgers and it was time to get rid of Mike McCarthy. and we had what do we have, like 6 or 7 guys who could have been traded that were weapons. We don't need 7 weapons when our defense is ranked 32nd. Trade some of those guys and get Rodgers a defense. Yeah. But nope, we waited till everybody got old and left.
I think if that's your point of, hey, they won one and that's great, but it's time to kind of evolve the team, then that's fine. I just think you can't go back in history.
Man, let's go get. It's a dynasty. He's the best player in the league.
I can appreciate this perspective.
That perspective is better than, hey, Bud and Chris and Drew are all frauds, and Giannis had to carry him to a title in 2021.
They ain't frauds, but like if you want to reload with a little younger power, I'm okay with that.
I think that's where you need to be living.
Super young too. Give me Shea or give me Ant. Listen, we need superstars. We need a killer next to Giannis because he's our Shaq. We need a Kobe. That's it.
Thank you, Nick, on the north side. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. You ain't getting Anthony Edwards. Maybe you could get SGA.
Give me Dame.
Ooh.
He's kind of he's not young. I was going to say he's old, but I love Dame.
800-990-3776. Let's go to Andy in Grafton. Andy, welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. What do you got?
I think like the one thing that we as listeners or we as watchers of Giannis, we get frustrated at the fact that he doesn't have American arrogance. He's a winner. You don't get to be where he came from to where he is right now if you're not a winner. And I would assume that anything that Giannis does in his life, he's never going to look at as a failure because it was all a part of the process to get him where he is right now. So, like, when Eric Name, speaking of failures, is going to ask him the exact same question as he did last year, and everything that Giannis has done over the course of last year.
Andy, are you insinuating that Eric Name is a failure?
No. I'm insinuating that if Eric Name is going to question someone else's success rate or failure rate, then maybe you don't ask the exact same question that you did last year, because then where is your improvement of journalistic integrity?
Was it a good answer? Was it a good answer, Andy in Grafton, that Giannis gave?
I believe it was the exact answer of what he feels, and I feel like if someone's going to nitpick, could Giannis have played better? Of course. Is there a reality where 38-20 isn't good enough?
Andy, you are the nitpickers of all nitpickers. You're saying Giannis gave a great answer, but you're mad at the reporter who busts his ass every day, has a great relationship with the team and with the player for asking the question that got a great answer. That's his whole job.
How would you asking the exact same question that you asked last year?
Who cares about the question? It's about the answer.
No, Giannis's composure to give a good answer without showing frustration like all other probably LeBron would have gave a sour puss answer.
That's why he's a good reporter, because he knows the relationship and the rapport he has in order to provide that answer. Because Giannis wouldn't have had to say, I'm not going to get personal if it was a good question. No, that's because he respects him.
Andy, just listen for a second.
Way. There is no way.
Eric has probably the best relationship of anybody covering the team with Giannis. And that's why Giannis was able to answer and calm himself down in that moment. And it's why Eric had the gumption to ask what I thought was actually a good, important question.
Yeah, but we're already even nitpicking Giannis's answer. Was the season a failure? Well,
it was! And he can still be a winner and that last season be a failure. I'm done. I'm done.
To who?
Andy, just because you say things out loud, it does not make them true. Like, it does not make them absolute.
But like I said before, winners don't use the word failure. Failures use the word failure.
All right. Kobe on the record after losing in the final says the season was a failure.
Winners aren't scared of failures.
Shaq said it on the post-game show. Look, I love Giannis, but let's call it how it is. He was 10 for 23. How are you going to, Andy, stand here and say he did everything great? He threw the ball like a hot potato when he got it late in the game. Stop it.
I mean, the idea that winners don't ever admit failure is absurd. Like, some of the greatest, most successful people out there talk about how they're failures
to succeed.
Yes, lead to success. Now, they won't say, I'm a failure. They won't say, and again, you can say that the season is a failure. Chris in O-Town, his first marriage was a failure. It doesn't mean he as a person is a failure.
Now, which is a miracle.
Poor guy. Craig and Wanakee, welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. What do you got, Craig? Thank you, Andy and Grafton. I appreciate
we
the
appreciate the call. It was fun.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah, so just want to say, I know, like, Bud, he coached us to a championship in 2021, but I just think, like, his welcome in Milwaukee, it's just kind of over. I mean, an elite coach would have made defensive adjustments the entire series that Jimmy Butler was pretty much averaging 40 on us, and I didn't see a single adjustment from game to game. And, I feel like a smart coach would have, double-teamed Jimmy Butler at any point, and we never saw that. And I just feel like he's got to be losing the locker room at this point. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
I think criticisms are fair. I mean, like, you don't have the number 1 seed and then have leads of 16 and 15 and blow those in the fourth quarter without allowing criticism to the head coach. Like, I think if you want to be critical, you can.
Right. Yeah, right. And, I don't know. I guess if we were to move on, from Bud, I feel like Nick Nurse would be a great option with our roster. But, also just with game to game there, watching the drop defense, and you're just watching everyone just hit these, like, free throw jumpers uncontested because Brooks just dropping down to the post. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would you not adjust to that? Why just keep letting them get these easy points and do nothing about it? It's just crazy to me.
Appreciate the call.
It makes no sense.
Thank you, Craig and Wanakee. Look, I'm with Ben. You can criticize, and I think there's criticism that's warranted. I also think you have to take the bad with the good. If you're going to criticize him here, you also have to be like, but the guy also built a perennial winner. He built a culture and a team that gets along, that has great chemistry, that builds on each other. He's got a superstar in Giannis who
brought a championship to a city that hadn't been there in 50 freaking years.
So, like, you could say all you want about the series. You could criticize the decisions. I think that's all fair. But I think that when you do that, you have to put it in context of they, as Ben so eloquently said, broke a championship streak in Milwaukee that was 50 years old. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN. Alfredo from Verona says one of the most of MJ's quotes talk about his success being because he failed so many times. I mean, he famously is the guy who didn't make the high school team, failed to make his high school team, and he let that failure continue to drive him. Now, again, there's different people, and I think that we're conflating what a failure of a season is versus a failure of a team and a failure of a franchise and a failure of a player. But it's an interesting conversation to have, and it's fascinating to me to hear how players who played ultimately take that. And Chewy said something very similar to you, Ben, when I was with him this morning on Jay Gabe and Chewy, of like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Sooner or later, you just got to look at this and be like, what are we doing here?
Big shout out to our friends at Palermo's Pizza. We're going to be joined next by John Leonardo of Palermo's. We'll talk to him about the 2 pies that we have in front of us. Plus, as Benny mentioned, might break a little news. It is Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You know what? I apologize. This Scalzo family's got standards. You could only kill one person.
Yeah.
Second time you're in.
I think that's fair.
I'm leaving.
You wouldn't go to jail for your kid or your wife? You wouldn't take the blame for him?
Hell no.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. The wait is over.
Aaron Rodgers is going to the New York Jets. It's official. It is happening.
Are you ready to believe in love?
I just think, as we move forward, we're really excited where Jordan can go. He needs to play.
Talk green and gold with us right here.
He's not providing the Green Bay Packers with the value.
How the heck did he
Thank
not?
you for the call.
2 of the last 3 years, the guy won the freaking MVP.
94.5 ESPN. Also available wherever you get your podcasts. And now watch us on Twitter and YouTube.
Over the past year, we've been hard at work improving our sales processes, expanding and remodeling our facilities, investing in new technology, and continuing our commitment to serve our customers, employees, and community. That's why at Boucher, when our customers leave the dealership, we hope we've made a customer for life. Whether you're in need of a new vehicle, are stopping in for routine maintenance, or are in need of collision work, we will be here to help. With 20 locations throughout southeastern Wisconsin and 30 brands, we've got thousands of new and used vehicles for you to choose from. Our dedicated employees have been named a 2022 top workplace for the past 11 years, and we always have been and will continue to be family-owned and operated. Proud to be your Wisconsin family dealership group since 1977. Visit us today at boucher.com.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
That poor shotgun of yours. It only sees the light of day during a hunting trip or two each year. Don't you think that bad boy deserves to be fired year-round?
Bring it to Waukesha Gun Club, one of Wisconsin's largest shotgun-only clubs.
Their Sporting Clay League begins April 29th with trap leagues on May 13th.
Form a team with other friends of neglected shotguns or join a team of your own.
Waukesha Gun Club has over 98 acres and is the perfect place for business or family fun outings.
Learn more at waukeshagunclub.org.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry. Ridgetop Exteriors is Wisconsin's #1 choice for roofing, siding, windows, and doors. We are the trusted local experts who live and work in the areas we serve, which means we're helping friends and neighbors too. On top of that, Ridgetop Exteriors offers the most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
Elevate your next dining experience at the Bridgewater Modern Grill, featuring a seasonally driven kitchen inspired by a custom oak-fed grill. You can expect to enjoy a menu filled with wood-fired flavors and classic comforts. With the longest riverfront patio in the city, add the Bridgewater to the top of your list for your weekday lunch, weekend brunch, or dinner out with friends. Visit the Bridgewater Modern Grill at 2011 South 1st Street in Milwaukee's Harbor District or bridgewatermke.com.
The wait is over.
Aaron Rodgers is going to the New York Jets. It's official. It is happening.
Are you ready to believe in love?
I just think, as we move forward, we're really excited where Jordan can go. He needs to play.
Talk green and gold with us right here.
He's not providing the Green Bay Packers with the value.
How the heck did he not?
Thank you for the call.
2 of the last 3 years, the guy won the freaking MVP.
94.5 ESPN. Also available wherever you get your podcasts. And now watch us on Twitter and YouTube. You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra, official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Get in the groove and let the good times roll.
Aaron Rodgers introduced as a New York Jet yesterday. The Bucks fall in 5 games to the 8th seed Miami Heat without Tyler Hero. And the NFL draft starts up in approximately 2 hours. It is Scalzo and Brust. We're hanging out with Palermo's Pizza here, and we welcome in John Leonardo of Palermo's. John, our friend, you're a Bears fan. You're based down there in Chicago. Aaron Rodgers wearing the other shade of green yesterday with the New York Jets. How do you take a look at the NFC North coming up this year?
Hey, guys. Great to talk to you. And I apologize that I'm not there in the studio enjoying some great Palermo's Pizza with you guys.
It's so screaming good,
unfortunately,
John.
I always appreciate that shout-out. Unfortunately, I've got coaching duties tonight for baseball, so I'm taking on my second job on top of marketing great Palermo's Pizza by coaching a bunch of kids in baseball and hopefully bringing home a championship. But yeah, it's tough, right? Because I love the NFL draft, and I've got the conflict of having first baseball practice of the season, and obviously got a big interest in this year's draft. A lot of really interesting things going on. You called me out on being a Chicago guy, but yeah, for me, with Aaron Rodgers obviously leaving Green Bay, it gives new hope, I guess, for the entire NFC North division. Bears in particular. Aaron Rodgers has always had their number. I think Detroit's starting to play better. It's going to be a really interesting draft, I think, overall, to see what all the teams are going to do.
You can have two screens going at practice, maybe a little mobile device while you're hitting some ground balls.
Well, that's when you tell the kids, hey, grab a ball and just go play catch over there. And me and the other coaches are huddled around. I'm like trying to figure out, like, okay, the Bears are going to pick at 13. What time, is that going to be? The good news is practice is over at 8:30, so hopefully I'll be home in time to at least see the good chunk of the draft tonight.
Now, John, this team, the goal is to win a championship. If you guys end up getting bowing out in the first round of the playoffs and don't win a championship, will you be comfortable calling the season a failure?
Yeah, I've been listening to all that talk, and obviously I watched the game last night, and I just, the thing for me that's interesting is, growing up in Chicago, I was very fortunate to grow up, go to college, be young adult during the Bulls reign in the 90s, and I think the difference that I see, and I know it's not a fair comparison, right, with Michael Jordan being arguably the best player to ever play the game, is as a Bulls fan, you always expected them to win. Even if you felt like, okay, their back's against the wall a little bit, you just always had that feeling that, like, Michael's going to figure out a way to elevate the team and they're going to come out on top. Even if he has a game that, I'll use air quotes, was down or, he was a little bit off, you knew the next game he was going to just come out and bring it, and he usually did. I think that's the difference from what I saw with this year's Bucks team in the playoffs. It's just you had that great game that I was fortunate to go to, Game 2, where they couldn't miss from 3-point range, and it was really exciting and fun. And then it just never felt like it came together.
It really didn't. There's no turning back now for the Milwaukee Bucks as their season ends, but I do want to turn our attention to some delicious pizza because we now know Surfer Boy Pizza availability in June throughout the state of Wisconsin and grocery stores. I mean, that is amazing to hear, as I believe is only in Walmart, and then a new facility in Jefferson, Wisconsin this summer, and you're hiring for both Jefferson and Canal, your location there. Just tell us what you got going on, because I mean, when you put some Screaming Sicilian news on here that I don't know about, I'm interested.
Yeah, we got a lot of really good stuff going on. As you noted, Surfer Boy, when we originally launched that, and that was in partnership with Netflix, tying into Stranger Things season 4. It was an exclusive to Walmart for the first 12 months. That was something that Netflix had worked on. We're fortunate that we are now able to bring that to our other retail partners throughout the state of Wisconsin starting in June. So our sales team's been doing a fantastic job getting out there, talking to our retail partners and getting commitments. So they're gearing up to get on the shelf, working on some promotions to promote and advertise the brand. So you'll probably see billboards up throughout the area, and I'm sure you guys will be talking about how great of a pizza that is on air. So we're obviously very excited about that. It is a fantastic pizza. It is one of my personal favorites. It's hard to say I've got an absolute favorite, right? It's like, as a father, you love all your kids the same, but some days you love one of your kids a little better than the other, and
I'm cheating on Screaming Sicilian right now. The urban pie thin crust with that sweet potato crust and barbecue chicken and sausage. Like I'm cheating on Screaming right now.
I get it. I mean it's hard not to, right? I mean the urban pie brand is fantastic. That's a great pizza that you're eating over there.
I've had the whole thing. It's amazing.
Actually, the one that I like by Urban Pie is the Urban Pie Pepperoni Rosa. Is absolutely delicious. The Rosa sauce, it's a combination of marinara red sauce with an Alfredo sauce, so it's pink in color,
Pepperoni
fantastic
Rosa.
flavor. You say it a little better than I do, even though I've got the Italian last name.
That is true. John, when are we going to get Brusty in the lab to make up his own flavors on the pizza? Benny, what would be your go-to? Like if you had to create a pizza from scratch, like the Ben Brust, official Screamin' Sicilian pizza, what are you throwing on there?
I mean, it's a combination of the Mambo Italiano. I love them all. Where
I'm asking like toppings on there.
I mean, I'd have to go. Sausage would have to be on there. Maybe I'm a meat lovers guy, so maybe some bacon. We have a mother of meat that I could kind of turn into my own.
Okay.
I mean, let me cook something up in the lab here for a second. I mean, on the spot. I mean, if I'm going to create my pizza, I want to go to the drawing board.
Understandable.
Hey, you guys have an open invite to our office and our R&D facility. We'd love to have you guys out there, create something, share it with your listeners, and maybe we even come up with a little giveaway. Just kind of thinking of something fun we could do.
I love it, John. Well, here's the deal that we need to make is whenever you're ready to make the announcement of the new Screamin' Sicilian, you need to do it here on Scalzo and Brust. Like, we have to have you back to make that announcement for the new Screamin' Sicilian.
Oh, absolutely. You're the first guys that I'm coming to for that.
Or we can just announce it now. It's the Ben Brust Pizza!
Oh, so somebody from my team already spilled the beans is what you're saying.
No, I wish that was it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys, I can't say enough good stuff about this new Screamin' Sicilian pizza that's going to be hitting the shelves. Call it midsummer. We just are finalizing a few things. It is off the charts great. It's everything you expect from Screamin' Sicilian, the premium toppings. It's a lot of toppings. I'll give you the one hint that's different is it is a new crust type to the brand, and something I think you could really appreciate, Ben, knowing your kind of your preferences that I've gotten to see over the years.
I love it.
I'm eating it.
What a tease, John.
I know.
We look forward to having you back to get that tease paid off and for us to learn about what that new Screamin' Sicilian pizza is. We so appreciate the time. Good luck with the Little League practice or the baseball practice tonight, and good luck in the draft.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Like I said, wish I was there eating some pizza, but I think I'll be throwing in a Screamin' Thin and Crispy after practice and watching the rest of the draft.
Sounds good. I'll eat your slices for you.
Thanks, John.
I know. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. John Leonardo there from Palermo's Pizza. Huge thanks to him. Huge thanks to Palermo's. The pizza is absolutely delicious. Pick it up the next time you are at the grocery store. We'll swing back and we'll dive into the NFL draft. We'll continue to take your calls as well on Giannis and the Bucks and the way the season ended last night. It is Scalzo and Ross, presented by Michelob Ultra.
Delays continue on westbound 94 coming out of the Marquette interchange through the Stadium interchange. Eastbound side's heavy from 76th Street through the Stadium as well. Southbound 41, watch for delays from Mayfair Road all the way down through the Zoo interchange. And we got pockets of heavy traffic coming in from Silver Spring, on and off the brakes straight through Capitol Drive on 43 southbound, then back on the brakes from North Avenue through the Marquette onto 4394. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, tonight partly cloudy, a low of 44. Tomorrow partly cloudy with a high of 57 at the lakefront, 63 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
They do whatever they can to make sure that you're set up for success, both within the career and just in your personal life as well. The benefits that are offered here are honestly some of the most insane benefits that I've ever seen. They're paying for people to go to college. They invest in the employees as human beings. I've never seen anything like that.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online, Waste Management Careers.
Weather is brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Play Whistling Straits and other Pro Tour courses, whatever the weather is, in one of their 12 state-of-the-art simulators.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust. For your sports talk fix every day from 4 to 6, it's Scalzo and Brust.
Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue.
It's a party, baby.
This is Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
It's a party, baby.
On 94.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
It's a party, baby. Woo! It's a party, baby.
Aaron Rodgers officially a New York Jet. 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 25 seconds away from the beginning of the NFL Draft. And the Bucs season is over far before any of us, even the biggest Bucs haters on the north side, could have predicted.
North side's got it down. That's what we learned from Nick.
Nick on the north side made sure we knew that the north side knew that this team was frauds.
I mean, if he really had that take, he wasn't wrong.
We need to dig up that audio. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN. Ben Brust shared his thoughts on the Giannis Antetokounmpo comments earlier. I do want to talk a little NFL draft. Mark Tauscher will be joining us at 5:30. We'll break down more on the Aaron Rodgers front and dive deeper into the draft. But in general, like, I want to know from the Scalzo and Brust family, who's your guy? Like, what do you want to happen in the draft? If you could make things, if you could manifest them a la Aaron Rodgers in a certain way, what are you manifesting in tonight's NFL draft? You could say, I want this guy at 13. I want to stay right there and pick X. Or I want to trade up and draft this person, because the Packers tonight have 12 draft picks, tied for the most in the draft. They've got 13 overall, and they've got ammo if they wanted to move up. And they really were in love with a Will Anderson, and he happened to fall out of the top 4, or a Jalen Carter, or somebody that they thought could be a real difference maker. Or say, I want them to trade down, and I want them to secure more picks, and I want them to still take somebody who is a good player. But if you trade down from 13 to 20, could you still get somebody who's going to be a really productive starter and add more to your arsenal in 23 and or 24? Because this team has a lot of holes when you look up and down the field. Obviously, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line they need to secure. They're probably going to be in the market to drafting a quarterback. They've got 2 running backs that aren't sure if they're going to be back here next year. The defensive line needs to add some depth. They are bare on pass rushers, especially dependent on Rashawn Gary's health, and that safety position might be the weakest of them all. Kicker? I mean, there's a lot of holes on this team.
Goot's gone long snapper and punter in the same draft before.
So
it's a lot of picks for him to use.
I want to know from you, Benny, but I also want to know from the Scalzo and Brust family. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Channel Aaron Rodgers and manifest your outcome for the NFL draft tonight. Tell us what you'd want. Ben Brust, I will start with you.
So I'm sticking with what I had said last week. I'm an in the trenches guy, Greg. David Bakhtiari's future, very unlikely that he's back with the Green Bay Packers. if you're building a team around a franchise quarterback that you believe in, you got to continue to build depth at the offensive line.
So who's your guy?
I'm going Darnell Wright, offensive tackle from Tennessee. I know that's boring, right? And that's the thing. That feels to me as it's the perfect pick for the Packers to be boring and shore up the front seven, and then next thing you know, in the second, not the front seven, the offensive line, and then in the second round, that's when they get a little crazy with wide receivers, tight ends. I don't like reaching for a tight end. I will stay put on that. I do not want to see, if I see tight end pop up on my screen tonight, I'm unhappy if I'm a Packer fan.
That is surprising to me that you went right. Not that when you went tackle, but that you went right over some of the other folks that are out there. The kid from Ohio State in particular, Paris Johnson, I think is probably the tackle I would most assume that the Packers would go after, but who knows?
It also is from the standpoint of Paris Johnson. Many have him in the top 10. Like it just feels like with Good who went to Tennessee's pro day. Like there's a couple of scenarios in which I see the connections and the dots.
For me, I want to trade down. I want to trade down, get in that 18 to 21 range, and I want them ideally, right? I'm manifesting this. With my crystal on, in honor of Aaron Rodgers.
Who's no longer on the team.
No, but I'm supposed to wear this until he throws a touchdown pass. I don't know if I've ever made a worse deal than that. The player that I would want is for them to trade down, secure a mid-round pick, whether it's the back end of a 3 or a 4, for somebody that really wants to jump up in that top 13, and I want them to take Zay Flowers out of Boston College.
Wide receiver in the first round in the 20s.
Wide receiver in the first round. Well, it's one of their biggest needs. I don't know if there's a pass rusher that I would really love at that spot in terms of number 13. I think if you really were dedicated to one, you could move up with some of that draft capital. There's nobody that I love at 13 there that I would expect to be there. Offensive line, I think, is really sound. But I think they could probably get a tackle later on. I think if it's like Zay Flowers, he is an energizer bunny. He's going to add energy to an offense that feels like they had no energy last year, to a team that doesn't really have a whole lot of buzz or identity. And I think, again, I continue to look at just how many holes there are on this team. So whether it's Zay Flowers or not, my thought is just trade down and then continue to acquire guys. Like, get as many ping pong balls as possible, get as many lottery tickets as possible, so you have a better chance to hitting on as many as you can, because this ain't a 2023 deal. This ain't a 2024 deal. The first time you're really looking at being a real player, and this is if Jordan Love is that dude, and I hope that he is 2025.
So, riddle me this. You talk about trading back. If we're going to potentially go for a skill position player, like a wide receiver, like a Zay Flowers, maybe Jackson Smith-Njigba if they trade back and he's still available at that point. Do you potentially consider trading up and utilizing some other draft capital that you have to get a Bijan Robinson? It's risky, but the boom potential of having a guy who can replace Aaron Jones when he's gone. He can also be a slot guy. We all know how important what's his name was, just running across Matt LaFleur's offense in motion. I'm blanking right now. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What's his name?
You're going to get it.
I know I am. Ty Montgomery. No, not Ty Montgomery. Help me.
800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Manifest your reality.
Manifest this player that was in motion and then he got hurt and it was like the whole offense shut down. What the hell?
800-990-3776. To answer your question, I would love Bijan Robinson. I think he's going to be, if you're looking for a playmaker, he's the best playmaker in the draft. I think what's interesting is he can line up in different positions. He's more of a Christian McCaffrey type than he is, certainly like an A.J. Dillon type. He's somebody that you could line up in the slot. You could do some creative things with. And as the best playmaker in the draft offensively, yeah, I absolutely would. I think he's going to go in the top 8, though, and then you're talking about trading up. I don't know how great I feel about trading up for a position that's not a position
I know that's
of need,
just like the
and it
riddle
doesn't
of
have
like
high positional
it's
value.
Fun.
But
It's fun. It's more of like my fun. Let's get crazy.
let's get crazy. You want to get crazy? We'll take some crazy draft scenarios as well. 800-990-3776. Hopefully, whatever they do today is smart. Like our friends at Smart Spaces, smartspaceswi.com. They help your company space become smarter, technologically integrated, able to perform beautifully across all virtual meeting environments. They do so much. They are interior integrators. They integrate technology into the interior of your business, upholding the aesthetic, upholding the culture, growing it even, but ultimately giving your team the technology in a seamless way to allow them to go out and do what they do best every day. So they don't have to worry about all the technology working for them. Ultimately, they can be their best because the technology works for them. So go to smartspaceswi.com to see how they can help your business, just as they've helped us here at our new ESPN Milwaukee offices at the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. Let's go to Jeff in California. Jeff, welcome to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. What do you got?
First, I've heard that they were saying that they was looking past Miami.
Jeff, I'm sorry, man. Your connection's horrible.
Get him out of here, Chris.
So I apologize. Call back, and we'll try to get you on a better connection there. Tyler Irvin, by the way. I don't want to keep the Scalzo and Brust family waiting, but I felt like I had to torture you a little bit there. 800-990-ESPN. Let's go to Steph in Canada, the official and unofficial Canadian of the Scalzo and Brust family. What's going on, Steph?
What's going on, guys? I hope you're super excited for tonight. I was just going to mention Tyler Irvin, but you beat me to it. So, anyways, I just want to see Packers Twitter burn when Jackson Smith and Jigba or Kincaid are drafted, whether it's the 13th spot or if they trade down a few spots. So I'm looking forward to, obviously, the reaction. But I think the Packers have to go for a bit of a less sexy pick. And if the best player available is an offensive tackle, they have to go that route. I'll hang up, and thanks for all you do. Enjoy tonight.
Thank you, Steph. We appreciate you, man.
I appreciate everything I do as well, Steph.
Yeah, best player available. I completely agree. When you're bereft of talent the way that this Packers team is, and I don't mean they don't have talented players. I mean, like, there's just not enough of them right now. There's a lot of holes all over the field.
They had lack of depth last year, 1,000,000%.
And there's a lot of young players on this team that you believe can develop into great players, but you still need to pack the roster with lottery picks. The best player available, always a heady play. Sadler and Madison, welcome into Scalzo and Brust, presented by Mick Ultra. What do you got?
Swerve and Irvin.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the Packers first pick. I think the Packers, if they move up in the draft, they could possibly pick up a quarterback, maybe a hooker out Tennessee. He was really good this past season, especially when they beat my hometown of Alabama. If they could beat the Alabama team, look what a hooker could do for the Packers.
Yeah. Oh, thank you
for
the call, Sadler. It's an interesting one.
I'm not in favor of drafting a quarterback older than Jordan Love.
That is a big consideration to have.
You already got one guy that age. You might as well get somebody who you want to develop and grow.
Trey Lance is still more of a developmental quarterback, and you could get him for
a third,
less than you could get Hooker, who's expected to go. I would anticipate probably very end of the first round. Or maybe the third round. But he's a top 3 round kind of guy. 800-990-3776. Now we need caller 6, caller 9. 800-990-ESPN, caller 6, caller 9 for over under par, presented by Wild Rock Golf Course. Your chance to win a foursome to the beautiful Wild Rock Golf Course. Here's how the game works. Chris Larson has a category. We don't know what it is. He's applied an over under line to the amount of correct answers Ben and I will get out of 10 guesses within 3 minutes. Excuse me. I was mixing up my games here. Within 3 minutes, we don't know what the over-under line is either. Caller number 6, you say over or under, whether you believe in us or not. Caller number 9, you're stuck on the other side. Once again, the winner wins a foursome to the beautiful Wild Rock Golf Course in the Wisconsin Dells. Over-under next. Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
Not as cool as the parade that I should have for winning CGL.
It's CGL. What does it stand for?
Closed Gyms League. guys are. I'm gonna swear on this show.
Scalzo and Brust.
Josh, you're lucky. You're lucky this is a remote.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Greg Scalzo here for Three Tree Marketing, a full-service branded merchandise agency using creative merchandising to share your company's story. They became a partner with you. They work with your team to think outside of the box and ultimately become an extension of your team because they don't just do product procurement and creation. No, they help with logistics from A to Z. They're a solutions provider for you when it comes to experiential marketing and branded merchandise. Go to threetreemarketing.com to see how they can help your business.
We have an accident on 894 westbound at about 92nd Street. Left lane is blocked heading into the Hale interchange, so be prepared for the backups starting around Loomis, so be careful with that. Southbound on 41 slowing down right around the North Avenue curve all the way down through the Zoo interchange onto the southbound bypass. Then we've got westbound 94 backing up out of the Marquette all the way through the stadium. The eastbound side's hitting the brakes at about 76th Street through the stadium interchange as well. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 44. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 57 at the lakefront, 63 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Our long national nightmare is over.
Aaron Rodgers officially is being traded to the New York Jets.
Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet.
It is happening, finally, after all this time. We've been waiting for this trade to happen, and now it is.
React to the move and get ready for the Jordan Love era right here. 94.5 ESPN. And also find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever else you get podcasts.
Cedar Ridge Distillery continues to make a home right here in Wisconsin. The original 86 bourbon is the best-selling bourbon in Iowa for 3 straight years, and you have the opportunity to get that here in Wisconsin. Also, the quintessential, the best American single malt, voted by John Barleycorn Awards, and Cedar Ridge manages every step of the production from grain to glass. Make sure you pick up the Scalzo and Brust private barrel of bourbon and rye whiskeys, available at Discount Liquor at 51st in Oklahoma or Barstow in Maine in downtown Waukesha.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
Really looking at the entire space holistically. The environment, the walls, ceilings, lighting, flooring, furniture, technology, along with acoustics.
To conceptualize how the end users are going to interact with the room, from the furniture all the way down to the AV, having that work seamlessly within the environment and often hiding within the furniture.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit smartspaceswi.com.
Magoo's on the Mound is your game day headquarters. Located on 59th and Blue Mound, just minutes from the ballpark. Magoo's has food options for everyone and a vast selection of craft beers and cocktails. Enjoy some drinks and watch all the games with your buds. Or stay entertained with pool, darts, trivia, poker, or live music. Plus, Magoo's on the Mound offers plenty of free parking and shuttles to all home games for the crew. Check out their food and drink menu as well as upcoming events at magoos.biz. That's magoos.biz.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Racine Danish Kringles. Mother's Day is Sunday, May 14th, and you can ship Mom something just as sweet as she is. A Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles. Get her favorite Kringle in a specially designed Mother's Day gift box. Just go to Kringle.com or call 1-800-4DANISH to order. Have it conveniently shipped right to Mom and consider surprising your sister, aunt, or grandmother too with a Kringle. Again, Kringle.com or 1-800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra, official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Scalzo and Brust hanging out with Palermo's Pizza. Ben Brust, mouth deep in that barbecue chicken sausage urban pie pizza with the sweet potato crust.
The sweet potato crust, man?
Just don't talk with your mouth full. Nobody
You
needs to
hate
hear
my
that.
hygiene habits.
You hate your hygiene habits.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wish my toes didn't look like they did.
I can't talk about your feet. There's also the pepperoni stuffed crust with 2.5 feet of cheese in the crust. Grateful Dead Thursday, NFL Draft, an hour, 34 minutes, and 40 seconds away from right now. Bucs season is over. Aaron Rodgers is officially a Jet, but it's a Thursday, and it's time to play Over Under.
Will the guys hit the over, or will they disappoint like they usually do? It's time for Over Under on Scalzo and Brust.
Presented by Wild Rock Golf Course.
Advanced purchase passes available now. Go to wildrock.com to order yours today.
Open for play. Advanced purchase passes are done. Just go get your tee times, baby. WildRockGolf.com.
All right. Hopefully we're more in sync when we get into the game here and Over Under.
Well, at least we know that Joshy made
Josh DiMaggio to blame for that one right there. All right, let's get into it. It's time for Over Under. Today's contestants: Chad in Madison. He is caller number 6. Chris in Madison, caller number 9. In case you don't know how the game is played, Chris Larson has an Over Under, he has a category. We don't know what that is. He's applied an Over Underline for the amount of correct answers. Ben and I will get out of 10 guesses within 3 minutes. We don't know what the line is either. Chris, let us know what caller number 6, Chad in Madison, said. So then hit us with the category and Over-Under.
Yep, so Chad Madison is taking the over. He's got confidence in you guys. Chris and Madison stuck on the other side with the under. Today's category is the last 10 quarterbacks to start a game for the New York Jets. And the over-under said it's 6.5.
This could be pretty hard. I know 3.
Let me know when you're ready to start the timer.
We are ready to start it.
All right.
Zach Wilson, final answer.
Ding, ding, ding.
Mike White, final answer. Joe Flacco, final answer.
Yeah, hold on. There we go.
One more. Yep.
Sam Darnold, final answer.
I swear to God there might have been a 4th starter last year.
I don't know if there was a 4th starter last year.
There was another quarterback that got time. I swear to God. I don't know if he started, though. Is Mark Sanchez on this list?
No shot that Mark Sanchez is on this list. But we have to start really thinking now and digging in. Who are some of the Jets quarterbacks as of
The Jets have been so bad that I just don't pay attention to the Jets. Think Rex Ryan.
No,
who was before? I'm trying to compare coaches with QBs.
Yeah, we're good.
Who was after Rex?
No, don't even go Rex, man. It's Darnold in the Darnold era. When Darnold got hurt, who stepped in?
Gene, no. Let's back up elsewhere.
This is last 10. Geno Smith, final answer. No shot. Woo! Oh! All right, so who else
if Geno's in there,
weight over the years?
If Geno's in there, isn't Mark Sanchez then?
No. Sanchez was pre-Geno.
Geno's been in the league 13 years.
Mark Sanchez, final answer.
Okay, we had one to give.
I mean, who the hell? That means there was. Who else were they rolling with? Who was pre-Sam Darnold?
Dude, I'm honest.
Aging quarterbacks. Brett Favre, final. No. That's a horrible answer.
I went to Chad Penny in my head. I'm just saying, I don't care about the Jets.
Chad Penny or Chad Pennington?
That's what it was.
Who are the awful Jets quarterbacks?
Greg, you know the AFC East more than me.
I'm blanking right now. I mean, because there was a lot of just backups because Darnold got hurt.
Did Fitzpatrick?
Ryan Fitzpatrick, final answer. All right, we just need one more, right?
Yeah, we're at 6 right now.
We got 6.
30 seconds.
Oh, gosh, I hate that.
Fitzpatrick.
I'm just going.
Just give me some other backup quarterbacks, man.
Jameis Winston. I know it's not. I'm just trying to help maybe get some names going. Chase Daniel.
10.
Matt
9,
Leinart.
8, 7, 6.
Who's the
5,
other USC guy?
4, 3,
Sanchez.
2, 1.
I'm sorry, Chad and Madison. This is going to drive me crazy. Chris Larson, who the hell are we missing? Because I know there's some obvious one.
All right, so start off with number 1 is Zach Wilson, which you guys got. Number 2, Mike White, which you guys got. Number 3, Joe Flacco, which you guys got. Number 4, Josh Johnson.
I wouldn't have gotten that. I'm not mad at myself for that.
Number 5 was Sam Darnold, who you got. 6 was Luke Falk.
Wouldn't have gotten that. Not mad at that.
7 was former Northwestern quarterback and Denver Bronco Trevor Siemian. Number 8 was Josh McGowan. Number 9, Bryce Petty. And tied for 10th, we took both of your answers, Ryan Fitzpatrick and Geno Smith.
All right. I'm not that mad.
It's a tough list.
That's a very tough list. Trevor Siemian was the one that we should have gotten.
Yeah, Luke Falk I wasn't going to get. Wait, when was Josh Johnson?
Was he last year? Maybe you're right. Maybe there was another one. Congratulations, Chris and Madison. Sorry, Chad and Madison. That was a tough one, man. That was a tough one. I don't feel good about that.
Josh Johnson was 2021.
Okay, so not last year, but the year before. I'm not happy with Josh DiMaggio, speaking of Josh's.
Josh Johnson played in the Alliance of American Football and the XFL.
Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. There's a common misbelief today that to make it further, you need to push yourself, that you need to give up any joy to continue with your rigid routine, or you could try another way. Take some time to enjoy life, like having a Michelob Ultra with some friends, because happiness is essential to living an exceptional life. Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it, but enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra. Mark Tauscher joins us next. That's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
This can't be common. I heard a crazy story from a buddy I met. And he talked about he got a vasectomy and then his wife got pregnant. That's got to be awkward, huh?
I guess.
Right? Like, you get a vasectomy, you think it can't happen.
Yeah, that's been known to happen.
Jeez. How did he get that thing to 100? I guess chop him off.
Scalzo and Brust. Available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
We do have an accident, 894 westbound at 92nd Street. It's got the left lane blocked, and that's got things backed up all the way into the Mitchell interchange. So give yourself tons of extra time to get through that. Southbound 41, going to be slowing from Mayfair Road all the way down through the Zoo interchange to about Lincoln Avenue with that construction zone there. It's also affecting your ride along 94 eastbound from before Highway 100 in through the Zoo interchange. Back on the brakes from 76th Street through the stadium, and then the westbound side will be slow right out of the Marquette all the way to about Mitchell Boulevard. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 44. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 57 at the lake, 63 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com. WildRockGolf.com.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
It's time to get outdoors with help from Fleet Farm. Check out top brands in grass seed, fertilizer, and mulch. And get your yard ready with lawnmowers and string trimmers. Plus, don't miss out. Pick up Superior Weed and Feed for just $15.99. And don't forget your garden. Stop into the Garden Center today to pick up your favorite plants. Find everything you need for your backyard and patio at Fleet Farm during the Get Outdoors event. Going on now.
Gruber Law Offices and other business owners help local startups get on their feet on Project Pitch It. Watch it Saturday nights at 10:35 on WISN 12. One call, that's all.
Q Club of Wisconsin is the perfect game day destination to catch all of your favorite teams in action. With tons of TVs in their sports bar, plus drinks and great food, it's the place to be. Check out their fish fry piled high on Wednesdays and Fridays and brunch specials on the weekends. Plus, this year, Q Club of Wisconsin is the official football draft headquarters for ESPN Milwaukee. Catch 94.5 ESPN broadcasting live from Q Club of Wisconsin during round 1 of the draft on April 27th. Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha. QClubofWI.com.
I'm just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
It's a new era for the green and gold.
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
And we're hitting the ground running on night 1 of the draft. Join us as we broadcast live from Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday night starting at 6. Homer Tausch, Jason Wilde, Ben Brust, and the full Jen, Gabe, and Chewy crew will be reacting to the picks and talking about the future in Green Bay. Draft night on 94.5 ESPN live from Q Club of Wisconsin in Waukesha. Mark Tauscher on Scalzo and Brust is brought to you by Fleet Farm. Remember, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, then you don't need it.
Water with the work ethic, baby. That's how I get through my days when I need it most. Whether it be getting after that heavy lunch that I might have had, I need a little pick-me-up. Well, that's clean, healthy energy that I get from my great friends at Water Joe. Great alternative to sugary sodas, energy drinks, 85 milligrams of caffeine, and it just tastes like good old water. Pick up Water Joe at any of your favorite local retailers. Fuels me every day, baby.
This music just makes me think of greatness. The Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer, our guy. You hear him every day, 9 to noon, across these very stations on Wilde and Tausch. He is Mark Tauscher. What's up, Tauschi?
Good afternoon, fellas. How is everybody tonight?
Everyone's good, and everyone continues to want to talk about success and failure. And I love Giannis, but it's a failure. They failed. They had an unbelievable setup with the core that they had to get their second world championship, and they got gentlemen swept. It was a complete colossal disaster and a failure.
Are you asking Tausch a question, or are you just?
He's gonna. I know he'll react to my statement.
I feel like that's a question. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can look at the postseason at all. I think the regular season you could look at, but again, unfortunately, nobody really cares about the regular season in NBA basketball. The postseason was exactly what you said. It was an utter failure, and I think Giannis would tell you that. But I get his point. I love the fact that he's philosophical enough to kind of jump into these conversations and look at that. But yeah, there's no doubt that you look at this thing and you're the one seed, get the best record in the NBA, and you don't get it done, and you get beaten badly. This wasn't some fluke. This was bad. And
took the
was
lunch money from the team.
Utter failure. Yeah. So, Benny, I mean, how would you look back at your Final Four season? You got beat. Was that season a failure for you?
I mean, ultimately, yes, because I still lose sleep.
Benny, you don't have this radio show. You probably aren't near as popular if you don't make that Final Four.
Yeah, I disagree because people think that they come up to me more about the Michigan shot than the Final Four.
Now we're getting in a Ben Brust grade off right now. This is the dream.
This is my dream scenario.
Scalzi, do you think that season was a failure for Ben Brust?
I don't, but I think there's a distinct difference. I think that that Badger team hadn't been to a Final Four in the Bo Ryan era, so them getting to the Final Four made it a success. I think the next year getting a little bit further made it success, but that year actually felt more like a failure because that felt like, oh, we need to go win it all. And it's how expectations ultimately define results, right?
Yeah, and that's the point, and I think that's what's been,
Let's go back to my career.
If the Green, you talk enough about that. If the Green
I actually
Bay
think, real quick, Tashi, I think that most people remember Ben not for the Final Four, not for the Michigan shot, but for setting the all-time three-point record at the University of Wisconsin. That's my opinion.
No, that's false. Ben's right. It's the Michigan shot, and then it's the Final Four push, and then it's his brothers.
That sucks.
His family. Well, I mean, it's the reality. I mean, Benny, I was as big a Badger fan as anybody, following you guys around and going and enjoying that whole thing.
Those two bozos wearing my jersey with buzz cuts and no shirts underneath.
I made one joke to try to be like, hey, we're hyping up Ben here. We don't need to go in the Brust family. Tausch, you're about to make a great comparison.
I don't know why you brought that back up. But, yeah, I think when you look at this thing all the way through, everything comes down to the expectation of what you're expected to do. And if you're able to surpass it, and I think everyone understands when you play sports. I don't know about you, Benny, but if somebody beats you and you put your best foot forward, you're never mad. I mean, you're disappointed, but you're not mad about that. When you lose to a play-in team and you were the 1 seed and you get run like you did, and you don't make any adjustments, you're gonna be gutted because you let an opportunity slip through your fingers, and that's the worst thing in sports to have kind of sit on your conscience is when stuff like that happens.
Talking with Tausch here on Scalzo and Brust across ESPN Wisconsin. Tausch, channel your inner Aaron Rodgers. Manifest what you want to happen tonight in the draft. It could literally be anything for the Green Bay Packers. What do you want to happen?
If I'm Aaron Rodgers or if
No, just channel the manifestation that he practices. It's an open canvas for you.
Sure. I want to see the Green Bay Packers do something they haven't done in 21 years. I want to see him go and get a solid, a big-time wideout skill guy that they can add to this, whether it's a tight end or if it's a wide receiver, which I think there's only one.
Well, who's your guy? Like, if you could pick anybody, like what?
We're trading back for a guy.
Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see a big play guy down the middle, a Darren Waller type that we keep trying to trade for. Let Jordan Love grow with a tight end. We all know that that's the big security blanket, and that's somebody that you count on. Let them grow together. Let them thrive and get a down-the-field weapon, down the seam that we haven't seen in a while. That's what I'd like to see happen tonight. But if that doesn't happen, I want to see you go grab one of these tackles that are graded out where you think that it's going to fit. That's the goal. Get somebody that can make a difference on this offense, because all of the talk of the last 20 years has been, is this defense good enough? Is this Joe Barry this and all this other stuff? Bottom line is the offense wasn't good enough, wasn't explosive enough, wasn't good enough in the red zone. Got a new quarterback. You better get your offense right, and you better start adding some skilled guys and some people that can make plays, and especially in the red zone, a tight end that can threaten the middle of the football field. Those are the biggest weaknesses. In a league that is getting more offensive, you better be better on offense. And the way this offseason has went, I don't think anybody's thinking the Green Bay Packers are going to be better on offense until they add some talent in this draft.
How bad, I mean, this is a big hypothetical, but how bad would it be for Goot if Rodgers does win a Super Bowl?
I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, obviously, but I would also say that if Jordan Love plays really well and is building, and you feel great about him as the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, you knew that Aaron Rodgers is going to be in a position to be better this year for the Green Bay Packers if he was the starting quarterback. So you live with that. As long as you're right about Jordan Love, you're going to be fine regardless of what Aaron Rodgers does. But I think it would look better, and I think Packer fans would feel better if Aaron Rodgers is a lot like he was last year, if not worse, and their team doesn't make the playoffs and you get a high pick. I think that would kind of justify Goody's decision more than if he goes on and wins the Super Bowl and the Green Bay Packers are drafting 5th next year. I don't think that's the ideal situation for anyone up there in the front office.
Talking with Tausch here on Scalzo and Brust across ESPN Wisconsin. Tausch, are you starting this draft coverage at 6 o'clock? I know we're going to keep on rolling here on ESPN Wisconsin. We'll have draft coverage from 6 all the way until midnight. Benny Brust and Kyle Wallace holding it down 10 p.m. to midnight. Tausch, are you the 6th?
That's late for Benny. That's late for Uncle Benny, isn't it? 10 to midnight?
I'm the night shift guy, baby.
Well, you got that Water Joe you're pounding, so you can be able to stay up all night. I like
sir.
No, I am going to be doing a couple of hits. I don't know if we could ever top the night Jordan Love was drafted and how fun that was and how crazy it was. But I am going to join the coverage a couple different times tonight, hopefully before the draft and then one after the pick to see who this next key cog is going to be to try to get this organization and this franchise back to where we belong.
So, Taushi, Aaron Rodgers spoke yesterday. He threw today. He was already in the facility working his butt off for the Jets as he had the Packers his entire career. He looked great yesterday, I thought. I just think you need to lead with that. Like, he looked like a new man.
He did.
What did you take away? Because I thought there was a few. He's very particular with his words and what he chooses to say and how he chooses to say them, right? And I thought there was a few things I took away that I viewed as comments of the Packers while talking about the Jets. I want to know what you think that he said that was meant to send a message to the Packers that wasn't a direct, but it was a subtle message.
Well, I mean, I didn't dig through it probably as deeply as you did, but I think there's no doubt that the alpha male conversation that you mentioned about
that's the alpha one was in my head. That's all it was.
That was, I think, pretty clear to everybody involved. And, I think, how would you guys grade the way this whole scenario played out? I think the Packers, after all the fuddy-duddiness and everything else, I think they ended up getting it right. It was sloppy, but there was never going to be a way it wasn't sloppy. And I think Aaron Rodgers, there's always going to be a little bit of resentment towards Goody and Mark Murphy because they didn't want him anymore. And I think anytime someone tells you that, you're going to go and try to prove them wrong. And that's why I think he's going to be motivated. And I think that's why he's in Floral Park or whatever that place is called in New Jersey working out, because he is incredibly motivated to have a good season with his new football team.
I think for Aaron Rodgers, he was a B+ through this. I would give the Packers about a C. And I would have been in the D category, but they got. I mean, they.
I think they
based
both
on the
deserve
leverage,
worse grades than that.
They fleeced the Jets.
They beat him up. Yeah. They beat him up. I don't know.
The reason why.
Done it.
Go ahead.
Whoa, you're asking us a question and you're talking over old Scalzi?
No, he can follow up.
Scalzi the question.
He can do the mid-answer follow-up. Are you? What were you asking, Taushi?
I asked you, Scalzi, what the Packers could have done better to give you a better than a C+.
Sure.
That's great.
All right, because I think that they never felt like they were in control of the situation. I don't know how people have confidence in a team that doesn't have control over the situation. They clearly didn't want Rodgers back, and they were hoping that he would retire. And I think if they, as soon as the season ended, met with them, looked him in the eye and said, look, our team ain't winning a Super Bowl next year. Like, we need to move things along. Jordan made big strides. We want to see you land in a place that you're happy with. Why don't you give us a list of teams that you want to go and play with if you want to play, but we're going to start lining things up to ultimately move on to Jordan. I think they could have gotten more suitors involved. I think they could have gotten this thing done quicker because the leverage would have been different, because he would have been on the open market, would have taken away all this mystery. I still think Rodgers would have been competitive to say, you know what, I'm still going to play. Bleep you, but I think he would have respected him for doing it, and I think we would have all saved ourselves a couple of months of the crap that we've had to deal with. And I also think that the Packers would have felt like they've got a strategy. Like, going back to even the year before when they signed Rodgers to that big contract and then let Devontae Adams go, it never feels like they're proactively in control. It feels like they're constantly reacting to things, as opposed to that pick in 19 with Jordan Love. To me, that felt like they were in control. That felt like they said, hey, at some point the Rodgers era is going to end. We need to be prepared for it. Since then, these last couple of years, it just feels like the Bucs on offense last night in the half court. They just don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with you on that completely, but that's all right. That's what makes this country great. I don't know. There's never going to be an easy way to end this. There never was.
Do you agree that they didn't want Rodgers back at the beginning of the offseason?
They didn't want him back.
So
why not do it earlier?
Why not control and say, hey, here's what we want. Here's how we're going to make this happen.
If you want to say they should have done it last year, I completely agree. They didn't. They wanted to ride the way.
I'm saying this offseason. I'm saying in January when the season ends.
They didn't have any control. They gave away. And to get what they got, with this situation, the way they
But
did.
they had all the
Aaron
control.
happy.
They ended up saying they wanted to trade him anyway before he said anything.
They didn't have all the control.
They were the ones that initiated all this.
I know how this
No, they
ends.
didn't.
It ends in
You know
a circular conversation between you two.
All right. I love you, Tashi. Bye.
See you guys.
He's wrong.
He is wrong.
He's wrong.
He's 100% wrong.
You can tell
he wasn't
in-
even
in his
he wasn't even
answer-
grasping or addressing anything that you were providing him.
He answered that like somebody who knew he was wrong.
For sure. We're just dunking on him after he hung up.
Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra. We'll take you into draft coverage next. It is Scalzo and Brust.
You're listening to Scalzo and Brust, presented by Michelob Ultra.
I just don't think you're cut out to be a great host in these spots.
That cut deep.
That was
I don't
tough.
think that cuts deep.
No, it does.
You're a good guest.
That was rude.
What?
No, come on.
Ben.
Greg.
What are we doing?
Scalzo and Brust, available anywhere you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Even when you think you know what's going on,
Although if the beer has head, you have to wait. You can stick your finger in it, a little slime from your nose and whatnot. But
you can never be too sure.
why is he leaving again?
Well, because
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
stuff the thing and get it like hard. It's just
Just so you know, Ashton almost made it back into the production office.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Ben Brust here for my favorite racetrack in North America, and that is Road America. Race fans, it's time to make your summer plans for fast family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. Experience 10 major races from vintage weekends to high-thrill NASCAR racing at the best NASCAR track in America. Bring the entire family for more affordable fun with on-site camping, free parking, and most of all, free admission for kids 16 and younger. See the full race schedule at roadamerica.com. Road America, America's national park of speed.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 12.5-ounce sauce or 16 to 20-ounce pasta, selected varieties, Rana pasta or pesto sauce, $6.49. 16.2 to 22.5-ounce package, Jose Ole taquitos or mini tacos, $4.99. 6 to 12-count box, Outshine fruit bars, $3.99. 10 to 12-count package or 10 to 12-ounce bag, Green Mountain or McCafe coffee, $7.99.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take the mound at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
Life's more rewarding at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, especially when it comes to great deals on premium lawn care products. Like Scott's Grub X Season-Long Grub Killer, just $24.99 after sale and $5 mail-in rebate. Prevent crabgrass, kill weeds, and feed up to 12,000 square feet of lawn with Scott's Turf Builder Triple Action, only $86.99. And right now, rewards members get a free $15 Farm and Fleet gift card with $100 spent on Scott's products.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Look at all this space I have on my desk. Finally, no more clutter.
I know, right? Plus, now I can actually see everyone and talk to them whenever I want.
Would you stop trying to ask people if there are more doors or wheels in the world?
Speaking of wheels, these chairs, woo!
I've never been more comfortable at work.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee. You're listening to Scalzo and Brust on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
My guy Maddie at the Princeton Club has been taking care of me for over a year now. Loves my personal training there. It's part of my life. It's part of my identity. It's part of my better tomorrow. And you can find your better tomorrow by joining the Princeton Club, because it's a community and a club where, you walk in and you feel empowered to just get better. And so whether it's through the weights, the cardio, the workout classes, you can find your passion. Madison East, new functional strength training with the sprinters track. Here in New Berlin, we have the same thing, and just it's amazing to be a part of the Princeton Club. Find your better tomorrow and join the Princeton Club.
Ben Brust, Greg Scalzo, Chris Larson in for Josh DiMaggio. It is Scalzo and Brust presented by Michelob Ultra, 800-990 ESPN, 800-990-3776. Chef Ed wants to go out with you sometime, Benny.
It's random.
Said, watching the live stream, Ben, you look mischievous. You and I need to go out sometime and cause some trouble.
I look like I'm mischievous? Mm-hmm. Is it mischievous? Or is it either or?
Jeff in California, welcome to Scalzo and Brust. Thanks for getting a better signal, we hope. What do you got for us?
Hey, I did want to talk to you guys about the Bucks, but I got something different that is very, very important. I had sent you guys some emails over the past week.
Jeff, do you want to talk to Chris off the air on this, or do you want to? Does this have to do with the show?
No, I did want to have something about the show, but it's something different. It's something very, very important. It's pretty much kind of an emergency.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk off the air on that one, Jeff, in California? We're just going to keep the show rolling here. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Benny, you got to check your email. I got to check my email. I didn't want anything to get personal out there that we may have missed. Maybe Josh DiMaggio, we can check in with him on what that is.
I bet it's something. I'm just blaming Josh.
Final thoughts on what this Packers team needs to do heading into round one of the NFL draft. All the rumors are flying around now. We're about an hour away from draft in Kansas City. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling like Goot is going to do something more aggressive than people think. I mean, he showed the ability to trade up for a quarterback. He's got a blank canvas. He's got a quarterback in which, they need to build a lot around. You might as well do something crazy to make the team better.
Yep. Well, you can get draft coverage live. You can get it in person as well. Everyone is at the Q Club in Waukesha, so pop on down to Q Club and have yourself a great NFL draft night. Ben Brust going to be 10 to midnight. We got a whole host of ESPN Wisconsin personalities guiding you through the NFL draft. Coming up next.
Westbound on 894 had an earlier accident at 92nd Street. That has actually been cleared out of the way on 894, but the delays still stretch all the way back to the Mitchell interchange. Those are working themselves out. Delays